Hi, welcome to Deb's Design. In this little powder room, I'm going to add some vintage charm by adding beadboard. First, I'll take sections of beadboard and sit them right above this little narrow, skinny pieces of baseboard that I have at this time. Once I adhere the beadboard on top of this little baseboard, then I'm going to put some larger baseboard in here and woodwork. Let's get started. Okay, so I got that cut out there. I'm gonna slide this right in here. Looks like I popped a little bit of that edge that goes there. Of that. And find the nail gun. I want to sit on that thing, do I? Okay. I wonder if I go loud enough there. I may have to take a blade and trim that out a little bit. Can't quite reach the part that goes in there, so I'm gonna just go for it now, and if it doesn't work later, then I'll trim it out then. And this little nail gun is so handy. Okay. Let me see if I left enough on the side there to fit that in. Okay. So, and I'm using, this is reversible. I'm using, see this has this narrower, I'm using the wider one. So we're put glue on the one with the narrower looking slats. So you see how I slid it in the groove here. Make sure it's down on the baseboard there all the way. And then bring it back in here as snug as I can. And then find the nail gun here. And tack it in a few places. There. That wasn't so hard. Now I'll go plug it back in and we'll be in business. Okay, right here you can see I have put these, they're only a few inches wide, and they're vinyl. I left it loose right here because the toilet paper thing is right there behind it, see? So I've got to figure out how much I need to cut for that. Let's see. What I'm doing too is I'm sitting it right here on top of the beadboard, or the baseboard that we had there, and then I'm going back over it with this taller baseboard before, you know, and then the chair rail will be up there. I really would like to have it a little bit taller But in these panels, that's all Home Depot had. It was either this or nothing. So that's what I'm going with. Let's see here. Kind of figure from that our markings for, and so it's just right here. And then over this little ring is so little, it's hard to, well, you can't really turn around in it. Let's grab this and we'll just use it for the measuring thing on it. Okay, it's about 5 inches. So we'll be going on this about 5, and whoops. Okay. So I'm actually going to try just cutting it with this little saw. It's a little bent. I've got a little better one out here. I think I'll go try it. Or I'll be right back. This is one of the harder things for me to do, is cutting the bead board. I have this saw here, but without a table saw, it's too hard for me to hold that and hold this. So I can cut little when I'm cutting across, but right now I've got to cut this lengthwise to fit next to the door. So it's a little tedious. I go back and forth between this and a smaller saw, but if I can get this one going at a good rate, then it actually works out better for me. I don't know if you can see it or not. I don't have the ideal situation, but you know what they say, where there's a will, there's a way. Okay, the bead board that I'm working with, it's only 36 inches long, and I decided that that is not what I want. I got most of the bottom finished, and then I realized that I wasn't going to be happy with that. I really wanted it to go up higher. So I bought some more of the 36-inch pieces, cut them in half, and put them across the top. We'll finish this part today, getting the 18-inch pieces put above that. Then I'm going to just put some 1x3s actually across this. I bought chair railing to go at the top, but I think having just the little flat 1x3s at this lower part, I'll do the same up here. Today I'm going to add baseboard to the bottom here and continue working with trimming this out. I will show you some of the different phases that I go through as I work on it. At this point, I have the bead board up most of the way. I've just got this little corner right here. Oh my goodness, I've got it in there and it is nice and snug. There's a little space down there, just fine for caulking. Any tighter, I would not have gotten it in there. As you can see, I had that little slender piece fits in this little groove here, goes right over here, and I'm still gonna have to hammer that in a little bit more. So I'd had one piece in there and I didn't like how jagged I had cut it, so this right here is the best it's gonna ever be. So I really am happy about that. Okay, it's at the end of the day. I have molding all up. I did one base molding, then I did a chair rail above that because I wanted a little bit more depth on the top to sit this wood that I've got running on the corners. And obviously it still needs to be caulked. I'm worn out. I've been in this little room most of the day. So I am going to clean up a little bit in here, and maybe if I get a second wind tonight, I'll stay up and caulk. So we've got quite a bit done so far. I have so many gaps between these pieces of wood here, as you can see. Actually, okay, here you see there's gaps between the wood, and I want to show you what a difference caulking makes. I've already gone through like two of these big tubes, but with all this wood, it's taking quite a bit. I've cut so many measurements, and then it's either too tight to get it on the wall, you know, between the spaces I need, or anyway, I'm just saying this caulking makes all the difference. You can get the tightest little fit, and then it's hard to get the wood pieces, you know, where they'll fit between the wall or between the other cut pieces. But the caulking sure makes all the difference. I feel like I've cut and recut so many pieces. When you're doing it all by yourself, it's a lot more work. Let's see if I can get that. I need a little bit more in there. And then you have to really go over it good to get the rough. So I make a mess with everything I do, but that's just me. So wipe it down nice and smooth and get all the extra bits off there. I just want to show you that up close. I've been working on this today, but I didn't film a lot of this part, and the cutting was just, like I said, trial and error, a lot of it. So if you do a project like this, just remember the caulking, because it is definitely a game changer. I mean, makes all the difference. I will go back and caulk along the floor after I paint the baseboards. I really need to get that just a little bit more in there, in that corner. There where I took out a nail, so we'll just take care of that. I'm anxious to get this painted and see what it looks like, but it's getting late enough tonight. I probably won't start then, but just wanted to go over a little bit of caulking with you. And all these little nail holes just like they disappear. There you go for that little lesson. Got most of the wall painted except this little part behind the faucet. So I've kind of got some paint back there, but I thought I'd use just a small little brush. Actually, this color I had in here before, it's Sherwin-Williams Alabaster. It's just a beautiful creamy paint color that I thought would set off the wallpaper nicely, that I'm gonna put above the beadboard. So I thought if I just get this much more done before I go to bed, that did pretty good. And then I just need to go over this board here. I may do another coat, especially on some of these that are going to be getting a lot of wear right here next to the faucet. So this is Sherwin-Williams Alabaster. I think I finished that sentence. Okay, I'm going to bed. Have a good night. See you later. Here you see the bathroom is not finished. The beadboard is up. The edging, the different slats of wood I have up. I have the baseboard's up. The caulking's done. The finish, the painting is. I'm still going to do another coat though. The main issue, no wallpaper. The wallpaper has not come. I think it's been discontinued or on back order, but at this point, I am going to do a different wallpaper than what I planned, I imagine, but I'm going to have to pick out a different one. It's hard when you work and choose finally what you like and then you can't get it. Please watch for the finishing of this for the next video. You can see where I hang the wallpaper. It will not be peel and stick wallpaper. I like to use either the wallpaper that's pre-pasted that you dip in the water, or the one that you paint the wall with the paste. So it will be one of those. And if you need tips on how to hang that wallpaper, be sure and watch my next video, or the one after the wallpaper finally comes, and I'll be showing you how to do that. Please subscribe so you don't miss that.